Hi, everyone. I am doing a series of short videos to talk about my upcoming course in Creation Consciousness, Heaven on Earth Frequency that begins in December. And so this is video one of the series. I'll be posting them all on my YouTube channel and then sharing them in the various social media outlets and on my newsletter. And so today in the first video, I want to talk to you about what creation consciousness is and how it aligns with the New Earth timeline that I've been speaking about for some months. So for those of you that have been following me, you'll know that I have been talking about this idea that in 2020 we will start to see and have start to seen this split in timelines. And that's a little bit of a oversimplification of what's going on, but it's the best way that my guides have been able to share with me the concept of what's happening. And so as I've spoken about it with folks in my sessions and in my workshops, what I share is that there's this dual timeline happening, these two realities happening at once. And in one timeline, we have people that are ascending and moving through their ascension process through a lot of struggle and a lot of pain and a lot of grief and a lot of dismantling of the old systems and control structures that have existed on our planet. And then concurrent to that, we have an alternate timeline that is happening where people are ascending through joy. They are finding their purpose. They are aligning with their highest light and their highest joy in this world and shifting through more ease and more grace than the other timeline. And it doesn't mean that this alternate timeline is all roses, right? There are still hard things. There's still shadow work to be done. There are still things that have to happen in order for us to continue to ascend. We have to remove blockers and obstacles, but there's a lot more ease and grace available, a lot more spiritual connection, a lot more, just plain fun that is available to us in this other timeline. And I'm always careful to point out that neither one is better. Right? It's really just a choice of what you want to align with. And there are people here on this planet that have chosen as souls to be a part of the dismantling, to be a part of the release of the old timeline. And that's a beautiful part of this process that is definitely needed. And then there's another group of souls who often are called to my work who are here to build where we're going. They're here to build the new earth frequency that we are headed towards, very quickly as we move into next year and over the next 10 years until 2032. And the interesting thing about this new earth frequency that we're all here to build is that it actually already exists as a template here on this planet. And we have access to it as soon as we step into the knowing that we are creator beings and we have full worthiness to be completely aligned with the knowing that we are source and unconditional love. And so the timeline over here in this creation consciousness is the notion that we don't have to wait for the old structures to break down in order for the new earth to be created. In fact, the template of the new earth already exists here. Mother Gaia has been holding that for quite some time. And it's just up to each of us as individual souls to choose to align with that template and begin to step fully into our purpose here on this planet. And for some people, that purpose is really expanded. There's a lot of work that they're to do, a lot of teachings, a lot of healing that they're to do with others. And for some of you, the purpose of being in the new earth is to just embody that and carry it with you everywhere you go so that you may touch people in your life with that frequency and activate them to the understanding that they can release the struggle at any time. And to expand on that, the timeline over here where there are a lot of lessons and physical manifestation lessons, meaning conflict that we have to go through in our life in order to ascend, is a very third dimensional timeline. And the interesting thing is as I've been talking with you all for many months, we are already able to access 5D, right? The fifth dimensional frequency is already here. That is the new earth frequency. But the third dimensional rules still exist, but they are optional now. meaning the idea of good versus bad, the idea that we have to go to battle, the idea that we have to fight for something. That's a third dimensional construct that is now optional. And the problem is that many people don't know that they have another option. They don't know that they can step into their creatorship, that they can step into doing their inner work and learning to love themselves, and that will open so many doors for them. And so they continue to play by the third dimensional rules until they have a catalyst in their life that pops them into the fifth dimensional frequency. Those are what I call peak experiences. It could be the death of a loved one. It could be an illness, right? It could be that they lose their job and they start to realize, oh, maybe I wasn't happy doing and playing by the rules that existed. I wonder what else is out there. And then they begin to be on their seeking journey towards this new earth frequency in whatever way works for them. And so it's not like you make a choice and you are stuck in one or the other. Oftentimes what happens when we choose to be in the new earth frequency is we still have some work to do with the third dimensional constructs. So we kind of bounce in and out. And the way that we bounce in and out is by coming into contact with people in our lives who are still choosing that third dimensional timeline, that old timeline. And when we bump into them, if there's anything that they're struggling with that we are still holding in our bodies, it will get activated to be cleared. And so a big part of anchoring creation consciousness in this heaven on earth or new earth frequency is that we have to learn how to coexist with the other timeline. And that is a huge lesson that I will be teaching in the course, because there's so much interesting things that happen when we bump into the other timeline, and we can kind of get lost in it again. We can kind of get triggered in it and get lost in it again. And so I'll be teaching in my course about how to anchor this new earth frequency, how to hold it, but not from a place of hierarchy where you're better than those around you, but from a place of unconditional love and compassion. And I'll teach you in this course how to walk through the creation process as it's been downloaded through me on a daily basis to co-create with spirit. And by walking you through that process, and I'll be encouraging you to bring something that you want to manifest in the world to the course and work through that as your goal, right? So maybe you want to bring in a new relationship. Maybe you want to step into a new career. Maybe you want to build a business. Maybe you want to start a creative project. Maybe you want to write a book. I'll be encouraging you to bring something to the table when you come to this course so that we can walk through this idea of creation consciousness in terms of that project that you want to birth. And that will just be an example, a template. And as we move through this, you're going to start to see that this is something that is possible for you on a daily basis. This idea of creation consciousness, it doesn't go away, right? This is here to stay. It's just a decision if you want to align with it every single day. If you want to realize every single day when you wake up that you are worthy of being connected to this frequency and operating in this new earth frequency and heaven on earth timeline. And so we're going to talk a lot about these two timelines. We're going to talk a lot about what happens when you bump into somebody who's not operating in that, and how do you handle that if it's somebody that you dearly love, that's maybe your partner or somebody in your family. We're going to talk about how to birth a creation through this frequency, whether that's a project or a new business or whatever it is that you want to manifest. And we're going to really anchor into the frequency itself. And so all of the teachings that I'm going to bring through are for your head, right? This is to help you wrap your mind around the idea that you maybe have been subscribing to rules that no longer need to apply. And we're going to be talking about all those third dimensional rules that are now optional and what you can let go of. But really, the secret sauce in this program is for you to come and be bathed in the frequency that I'm pulling through, right? That is why I'm working with these higher beings. I don't even like to call them higher beings. They like to remind me that we're all equal. But these expanded light beings that are going to help me anchor that frequency through my body in real time for all of you as I'm teaching. And we'll have activations, and we will have discussions and sharings. And the goal is, as you all come into community and work with this frequency, that it gets expanded even further than just me holding it in a one-to-one basis with individuals in session. And so that's a little bit about this idea of two timelines, the new earth frequency, creation consciousness. You know, to sum it up, creation consciousness is just the understanding and the knowing, the deep truth that you are here to create your heaven on earth in whatever way that looks like. And if there's nothing that you want to birth and you're just retired, maybe heaven on earth looks like you just learning to be in joy and holding that and interacting with people around you in that frequency. Maybe that's the creation. Maybe you want to create a new life for yourself through that frequency. And so I've been getting some questions from some of you about, you know, who is this course good for? What if I already feel like I'm a good manifester? All of those are really good questions. And so I want you, as you listen to my videos over the next few days, to just really anchor into, is this something that is in alignment for you? Does it feel like this would be helpful for you to step forward and let go of a lot of the density and a lot of the struggle that has existed for you in your lifetime? And this course is so important to me because I know that I can't save everybody. I know that I can't save everybody from their process of, if they choose to be in the dismantling of the third dimensional reality and to move through it in that way. I know I can't save them, but I also know that if they're ready to do it differently, and they're ready to choose joy, and they're ready to choose love as their primary frequency, then I can open that door for them if they want to walk through it. And so really that's my calling right now. My calling is to activate and gift this frequency to as many people as possible. And I was bathed in it over the summer as I was leading my retreats in the middle of a pandemic. I was leading retreats and watching the monumental shifts that were occurring for the people around me. And that's why I want to share this frequency, because it's so important. I know this is where we are headed. I know that this is my work here on this planet. And I want as many people as possible to experience it and to be able to choose joy, because the more of us who do, the faster this new earth frequency anchors, and the faster the dismantling happens, and the less struggle those who are not ready to shift to new earth will have to move through. And so in a way, the more of us who choose to step into creation consciousness, we're creating such a beautiful frequency and such a beautiful new earth, heaven on earth timeline that people are going to start to notice. And they're really going to wake up faster to the fact that they have another choice. And so, yes, I'm a little bit asking you to step into this so that you can own it, but also so that you can be an activator for other people through your purpose-driven work, through your creations, through your art, through your talking with strangers, through your interactions. It's kind of like we're going to build this beautiful light matrix and light force as we step into this frequency. So that's my first video. When I come back and talk with you all next time, I'll be speaking a little bit more about creation consciousness and some of the blockers that may exist to anchoring it, and some of the differences between creation consciousness and the way we've manifested in the past. So stay tuned for those videos. If you're not a subscriber on my YouTube, you may want to subscribe because you'll get the video first. And it may be a little delayed in coming out to my email list, but if you're on my YouTube subscription list, if you're a subscriber on my channel, you'll get the video right away. All right, so I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video, and I will be back in a couple of days with more information about this wonderful program. Registration links are below this video, and we do have a very special bring a partner, bring a friend offer going on. I want people to be able to have study buddies in this program, so consider that as an option if you'd like to do it with someone else in your life. All right, thank you so much. Bye-bye.